Dallas Cowboys defeat the Philadelphia Eagles 29-23. You're watching the MJ Take on Sports Fan Entertainment. Hello and welcome to the MJ Take on Sports Fan Entertainment. Dallas Cowboys get it done at home against the Philadelphia Eagles. They win in overtime 29-23. Yet another overtime game we've had on prime time television, on national television, the third straight on Sunday Night Football, and excuse me for that. And wow, the Cowboys got it done. And I picked the Eagles this week. I picked three huge upsets this week, and that was the Bucks, that was the Eagles, and that was the Browns. And all of these teams had sizable leads in the second half, but all of them choked, and this is the latest one. Now, let's talk about Philly real quick, because I was frustrated. Because, again, if I pick you, I'm rooting for you. I just want my picks to be right. That's all I care about. I'm an analyst. I want my picks to be right. And the Eagles, man, y'all should have had this game. Y'all blew this game. I mean, honestly, y'all were up 23-13, and then I don't know what happened. You let up a fake punt. Actually, it may have been before that you let up the fake punt, but you let up a fake punt to the Dallas Cowboys. Wendell Smallwood with a huge fumble, and offensively, you couldn't do anything, couldn't do a damn thing in the fourth quarter and overtime. I mean, you didn't get the ball in overtime, but still, you couldn't do anything. And, this Eagles offense, sometimes it works. Sometimes they're able to move the football effectively, but man, they just do way too many screens. And eventually, at the end of games, teams figure it out. And they say, hey, I know what you're doing. You're running a stupid screen. Watch as I stop you. Okay? Like, that's what they do. They love running screens to Darren Sproles and Jordan Matthews. But then you saw Brandon Carr and Morris Claiborne. They started pressing, and then these screens weren't working. Why would you continuing to run screens? It's beyond me. And their wide receivers aren't very good. Now, Dorian Green-Beckham, he's fine, but he does drop balls, and we saw that today. He had a number of huge drops today, and they called him for a couple of pass interference calls. Now, I thought the second one was BS. I thought Brandon Carr absolutely flopped on that one. The guy jumped back like he was some sort of, I don't even know, Jack in the Box. I've never seen anybody jump back like that before in my life. I'll never see it again. But, man, he's inconsistent. And then Jordan Matthews, where was he, man? He didn't show up in the fourth quarter. None of your wide receivers showed up in the fourth quarter. Trey Burton dropped a huge pass. It wasn't a complete drop, but he couldn't, haul it in. The receivers aren't good enough. And, Carson Wentz, he is good enough, okay? I thought they should have trusted him more. I don't think they trusted him. I don't think they put him in that pocket, said, read this defense, said, throw the football outside the numbers, say, throw the football inside the numbers, throw it down the field. I didn't think they trusted him in the fourth quarter to do that as enough as they should have. If they would have done that, to me, they put up another field goal, they win the game. It's a huge blunder to me. You got to trust your rookie quarterback, because unfortunately, and it's very evident, he is the best player on this Eagles offense. Jason Peters is damn good. So is Jason Kelce. But he's the man. He's the guy that's driving this team without Carson Wentz. If you replace Carson Wentz with Trevor Siemian, or you replace Carson Wentz with Eli Manning, or you replace Carson Wentz with Blake Bortles, I'm not sure the Eagles have 2 wins right now. Carson Wentz is driving this team to me. It's very evident to me. Now let's move on to the Eagles defense, and then we'll move on to the Dallas Cowboys. Now, this Eagles defense, it started out so well, but man, I don't know what happened in the fourth quarter and overtime. I don't know what happened. They let up the lead. No big plays from guys I expect to make plays. Fletcher Cox, you got to make a play. Okay, you got to sack Dak Prescott in the fourth quarter and overtime. Your team needs you to make a play. You're the best player on the football team. You were paid 6 years, $106 million to make a play in fourth quarter and overtime, and you could not make a play in fourth quarter and overtime when your team needed you the most. Brandon Graham, Connor Barwin, someone sack Dak Prescott. They couldn't do it. The cornerbacks just burned. Absolutely burned. Leotis McKelvin, Jalen Mills. They didn't let up a huge play, but they let up consistent plays. They weren't doing a good job. That's just the damn truth. They got killed by Cole Beasley on one catch. Killed by Des Bryant. Just Bryce Butler. I mean, they just weren't doing a good job. This whole physical defense. I don't know what happened in the fourth quarter. I don't know what happened in overtime. They didn't show up. Jordan Hicks, he wasn't playing well today in the fourth quarter and overtime. Again, the fourth quarter overtime, this game was lost. It was absolutely lost, and it baffles me and it blunders me, and I can't believe it as I'm talking about it. Now let's praise the Dallas Cowboys. And, to a certain extent, the Cowboys are good, okay? And they're playoff bound, okay? That's just the damn truth. The Cowboys are going to the playoffs, unless if they have the biggest collapse I can remember. The Dallas Cowboys are going to the playoffs. They're a good football team this year, especially defensively, despite their lack of personnel. And I still believe there's a lack of personnel here. I mean, their defensive line isn't very good. I think that's evident today. But they're just playing well. They're playing up to their potential. Brandon Carr is playing up to his potential. Morris Claiborne is playing up to his potential, probably having his best year. Honestly, probably having his best year. You look at Sean Lee being the head of this defense, being the captain of this defense. He is absolutely owning this Cowboys defense, getting them where they need to be, making plays, making stops, doing a great job, Sean Lee. He's absolutely fantastic, is Sean Lee. You look at Anthony Brown, the cornerback they drafted out of Purdue. I like the pick. I believe I gave that pick a B+ when they drafted him, and you're seeing why. He's decent. He's not great. He's not going to be a shutdown corner or anything like that, but he's a good corner, and he's playing well. Byron Jones playing pretty well. I know J.J. Wilcox, for some reason, was absolutely chewing his ass out. I don't know why. I thought he was playing well. So, overall, this Cowboys defense, they're playing better than anyone thought they were going to be, even Cowboys fans. Unless if you were just, rose-colored glasses, you knew this Cowboys defense wasn't very talented, but Rod Marinelli, it's a very interesting name. He's getting the most he can out of this defense. Offensively, now Dak Prescott. This guy's going to get a lot of praise. And trust me, I love Dak Prescott, okay? A lot of people think I'm a Cowboys hater. No, I'm not. I gave Dak Prescott, the Cowboys, an A for drafting Dak Prescott, and you're seeing why. I mean, this is one of the best calls I've had in my entire YouTube career. Dak Prescott's going to be a starting quarterback in this league. Go back. I said it. I said it time and time again. I said it, and you're seeing why. And now, it's very interesting. He played absolutely fantastic in the fourth quarter and overtime. And I guess that's all that matters. Okay, fine. But he did not play well at all in the first three quarters. Huge red zone interception. Didn't play well in the red zone. Inaccurate passes here and there. But he won the game. Okay, so overall, if I had to grade his performance, I guess I'd give him a B, maybe a B+. I'd like to see him play better in the first half of games. If you're playing the Vikings, if you're playing the elite teams in the NFL, the Patriots, the Steelers, I'm not sure if you get away with that. And you're going to start thinking about Super Bowl, and you should be. And if you want to win a Super Bowl, he's going to have to play better than that in the first half, because the Patriots, you ain't coming back against the Patriots. Vikings, you ain't coming back against the Minnesota Vikings. You got to play better in the first half of games. But, overall, I give him a good B+ for today, because he was just absolutely fantastic in the fourth quarter and overtime. He was absolutely fantastic. Ezekiel Elliott. And I've been the biggest Ezekiel Elliott skeptic. And, I mean, ultimately, we'll see where his career goes from here. Look, he's good, okay? I always said he was going to be good, first of all. I never said he was going to be bad. I still question, though, is it because of this Dallas Cowboys offensive line? Because a lot of times he does, have some, yards after contact. He definitely does that. But, man, this Dallas Cowboys offensive line is freaking good. And you sit back and you watch the offensive line and you're like, hey, this offensive line is freaking good. And they're letting up these huge holes. They're creating these huge holes, and he's running well. And he's going to continue to run well. He's going to have a great career for Dallas, probably. But would I have taken him with the fourth overall pick? I'm still not sure. I still may have taken a Jalen Ramsey. I still may have taken Joey Bosa wasn't available, but if he was available, I definitely would have taken him. We'll see overall how his career shakes out. I know this, Leonard Fournette, who's coming in the draft next year, I still like him more than Ezekiel Elliott, and I think if Leonard Fournette was behind this offensive line, he may run for 200 yards every game, but he's playing well, and this is something that I cannot deny. And overall, this Cowboys team is playing well, and this is something that I cannot deny. Now, real quick, let's talk about Tony Romo. And Tony Romo versus Dak Prescott. Now, it's very interesting. Look, this is what you need to concede. If you're going to start Dak Prescott for the rest of the year, fine. You're not going to win the Super Bowl. You're not going to win it. Dak Prescott, he's good, okay? I mean, he overall, I guess you could say he's good. If we're ranking the 32 quarterbacks, would define good. If you're good, are you a top 16 quarterback? Are you in the top half of the league? Is he there? No. I don't think so. In the terms of the Wentz versus Prescott debate. I understand that Prescott's the one that stepped up and Carson Wentz didn't today, but again, I thought that was just a byproduct of the horrible play calling on the Eagles' part and the Eagles wide receivers not playing well. I still think Wentz is better than Dak Prescott, and I think if you're honest with yourself, you can see that. I think Wentz, the guy is, again, he is the team. He is trying to do his best with this Eagles team, and he just can't do enough. You know, he's having running backs fumbling the football. He's having wide receivers dropping passes left and right. I mean, that is his problem right now. I think if you put Carson Wentz on the Dallas Cowboys, think about it, Cowboys fans, honestly. If you put Carson Wentz on the Dallas Cowboys, we're not even talking about Tony Romo. We're not even talking about the Cowboys being 6-1. They're 7-0. I mean, this team would be so good. So just to be honest, okay? Anyway, I've been saying that I would start Tony Romo over Dak Prescott. But it just depends on what you want. If you want to win this Super Bowl this year, it's just you have a better chance with Tony Romo. You will run into the Seahawks. You will run into the Vikings. One of those teams you are going to run into. Okay? And when you run into them, I'm not sure Dak Prescott can beat those teams, man. Can beat those defenses. You know, having a rookie quarterback and a rookie running back against the Vikings defense, against the Seahawks defense in the playoffs in January, in Minnesota, in Seattle, it's just too tough. Tony Romo can pull that out. Can Dak Prescott? He's good, you know, but I'm not sure. If you're starting Dak Prescott, that's fine. You're saying, okay, we're preparing for the future and whatnot, and then in 5 years, or not even 5 years from now, hell, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years from now, you could win the Super Bowl then, but the first year, it's not happening against the Vikings defense, the Seahawks defense, the Patriots defense. You're just not going to win the Super Bowl, okay? So it's your decision to make. I'm going to leave it up to you. I'm going to leave it up to Jason Garrett, Scott Linehan. If it were me, I think this Cowboys team is special. I'm not sure they're going to get this defensive production next year or the year after that or the year after that. I'm not sure they're going to get this run game this year or the next year, then the year after that or the year after that. So I'm starting Tony Romo. I still like Tony Romo. And maybe he comes in there, maybe he sinks it up. But I think now you have a good lead in the NFC East. If he sinks it up, go ahead, switch it back, and then we're good. You know, I don't see the problem with starting Romo. Yeah, you could lose momentum, but you're facing the Browns next week. Get him ready. He's going to win that game, and the Cowboys are going to win that game regardless if it's Dak Prescott or Tony Romo. But if you really want to win a Super Bowl this year, and I think it's possible, man, because outside of the Vikings and the Seahawks, no NFC teams is really stepping up except for you. Okay, so I think it's definitely possible, definitely viable, but I can't see it with Dak Prescott. I can see it with Tony Romo. What do you guys think? Comment down below. I want to know. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and most importantly to subscribe. And until next time, this is the MJ Take on Sports Fan Entertainment, and I'm out. Peace.